That's right, my friends. This is another review on the Dodge Durango. It's funny because I was just trying to do the math, which can be a hell of a task for me, and figure out how many times I've driven and reviewed the Dodge Durango since it was introduced for the 2011 model year. And to the best of my memory, I think this 2021 model year Durango is the 8th Dodge Durango that I spend at least 1 week with and review. And the thing is that even after 8 reviews, 11 model years, heck, I was in my early 30s when this thing was introduced, I'm still not bored of this SUV. Every time I spend any amount of time at the wheel of the Durango, I'm reminded how good is the wrong word. So I'm going to try amusing, fulfilling, distracting, entertaining. There it is, entertaining this SUV is. But more than that, it's not just fun. It's actually very, very usable, very useful. It's got great bones. Now, of the 8 times that I've driven it, at least 3 now, I've had kids with me, maybe even 4. Not sure, again, math is a big thing for me. And it just makes even more sense when it's being used for the purpose for which it was designed, which is to haul people and stuff. But the beauty with the Durango and versions like this one and others is that it also hauls ass, and it looks good and sounds good in the process. In fact, I've said that this is one of my favorite SUVs. In almost all of my mid-size 3-row SUV reviews, this one comes up, and I'm never wrong. I've never been wrong. I still love this SUV. Although I've reviewed it many times, and there are probably already a couple of videos on it, at least one of a certain 392 on Motor Illustrated's YouTube channel. I still think it's worth doing a quick walk around and then exploring what makes this 2021 Dodge Durango a little bit special, because that's right, it's been updated for 2021. This is the second update, along with about 9 different changes, trims, engines, and all that have taken place over the last 11 model years. Anyhow, enough of that. Quick walk around, then a nice and noisy drive will ensue. Let's start with one of the, main updates for the 2021 model year, and you're staring at it right now. There's a new fascia, new face, new grille, different headlights, LED and stuff being grafted onto the, slightly older body, if you will. Looks modern, and throughout a lot more, let's just say, Challenger and Charger inspired updates. That'll become a little bit more clear and obvious once we get inside. Physically, there isn't much else going on versus the previous generation, or not generation, but previous years of the Durango. There are, however, very specific things physically going on about this particular Durango RT. F8 green, the best. At least one of the best colors you can get this Durango in. Let's just touch on pricing right away. Canada base price for the SXT is $43,769. At the other end of the spectrum, among the naturally aspirated Durangos, is the 392, SRT 392, which retails for $69,859. In the US, pricing for the same 2 trims, $33,340, $64,245. Look, the base models, you get the 8.4-inch screen with Uconnect 4 and a buttload of other stuff. My tester right here, you may have noticed, and I think I mentioned it, is the RT, which starts at $56,279. So that's about 13 grand less than the SRT. My tester, as you see it right here, has a number of options. I'm not going to go through all of them, but one of which is the tow and go package, which is essentially the do anything, go anywhere package, if you will. So tow and go includes the SRT looks. So now you're seeing the flares, you're seeing the bonnet, yes, the hood, the wheels, the brakes, and the deeper chin spoiler, and a bunch of other stuff. It also includes, well, the 20-inch tires, a quadra-track 4x4 system, performance steering, suspension, electronic limited slip rear differential, and one bit called the high performance exhaust system. Yes. Oh, and there's also a 5.7 liter V8 under the bonnet. The grand total for this actual model is $83,000 with options. So right away, there's a little bit of a problem right there. I suppose that's enough walking around. Still a very contemporary, handsome looking truck. Look, I didn't really bother with specs, but this is a 7-seater. My apologies, a 6-seater. So you have a third row right there. This is an option too. The second row captain seats, plenty of storage, lots of space, yada yada yada. If you run out of space in this thing, well, then you got to get a minivan. And until Chrysler decides to drop a 5.7 or a 6.4 liter V8 in a Pacifica, this is your only option for the V8. Couple notes on the interior. It's a big SUV, but even so, and yes, the seat backs recline in the second row. But, and in my generally up close driving position, leg room's a little tight for the kids, but they're so distracted by daddy driving that it doesn't really matter. There's that option with the center console in the second row. As always, FCA does interiors quite well. I mean, materials, contrast stitching, little details, it's quite nice. Some things are a little bit more, prehistoric maybe, but it matters not. Here's another option. Let's see. Leather seats, power lumbar and all that. Let's just slide in. All right, I'm gonna try and talk over the fact when it starts because I don't wanna, well, you probably heard that anyway. So part of the gauges is a 7-inch central display, which I believe is standard on all Durangos. But what isn't is the new 10.1-inch screen with Uconnect 5. Now it's 5 times faster than Uconnect 4, and in this Durango, it's a little bit more responsive, quicker to navigate than what I experienced in the Pacifica a couple months ago. Even so, now as we scroll down, you'll come face to face with another new addition in the 21 Durango, and that's a new layout for the controls, and everything is a little bit turned towards the driver, so that's Challenger inspired, if you will. But there's nothing negative to say about the ergonomics because the buttons are quick, easily accessible. They're your drive modes. Fairly self-explanatory, I might add. This is something that I've not bothered to explore. Wireless charger, mask storage, kind of. It's not very deep. Cup holders. Now, another option in my tester is the rear entertainment system, which cuts the armrest storage room, but it doesn't matter. Like I said, the kids are entertained enough as we drive around. Typically well put together, well crafted interior in FCA Stellantis products. Yeah, big dead spot here, but the way you drive this vehicle, you'll never look back or even to the side. Let's just get right on that now. So what's special about this RT with the tow and go package is that it could be considered the SRT 392, or should I say the SRT 350. Essentially, it's an SRT dress-up and performance package minus the 6.4 liter V8. To be frank, and this is where I take issue with this particular truck, and it's really not the truck's fault, it's product planning, or I don't know. But as tested at $83,000, it just doesn't make sense to pick this particular model with all the options. And I do mean all the options, like the leather, the sunroof, the advanced driving package and all that, because it's pricier than an SRT 392. And that, in my mind, is a huge mistake. But that's the only negative thing I have to say about this specific Dodge Durango RT with the tow and go package. The 5.7 liter V8 is still a gloriously smooth, responsive, energetic V8 with its 360 horsepower and 390 pound-feet of torque, 8-speed automatic transmission, the advanced track all-wheel drive, which is superb. Not winter, obviously, and I'm happy about that because I have these ultra high-performance 20-inch Pirelli tires, which are all part of things you get with the SRT 392 Durango. Other things you also get, I have the Brembo brakes, but this one actually has the high-performance brakes that are also available on the SRT 392. All in all, the only difference is that it's a little slower, but it's just as brilliantly noisy. There's a teeny tiny part of me that feels a little guilty, I suppose, about consuming at least 18 liters per 100 kilometers while driving this massive SUV. But then when I do this, I'm okay with it. I'm just fine. This is the entertainment part. This is why the kids love the truck too, because that noise is irreplaceable and just absolutely addictive, as is the torque and the responsiveness of the 8-speed automatic transmission. If I was to make another semi-negative comment about this, it has nothing to do with age or whatnot. It's just the drive mode. So the drive modes in the Tow and Go Durango RT do impact damping, steering, and throttle response. So what that means is that when you're in sport, your dampers are in sport, so is the steering and everything else. If you go into track, well, ESP gives you all the leeway you need, and 30-70 torque split between the front and rear wheels. Although in sport it's 35-65, so it's not an enormous difference. But the damping now, say in track, on a normal road, as I am right now, can get a little bit jarring. I would pray to the gods of Stellantis to maybe just give a separate damper button. Never mind a custom mode, just a separate damper button to keep that in comfort or normal, to enjoy the vehicle's relatively high level of damping and comfort in normal drive mode. What else can I say? Snow and tow, my apologies, will give you a 50-50 split, and even in snow, fog lights will turn on. It's all nice, but I don't know why I mentioned that. I feel obliged for some reason because I've driven this maybe so often. I feel, again, guilty. But look, this thing is about, the old saying, smiles per miles, especially with the tow and go package and the performance exhaust, the performance brakes, the big tires, and the styling, the wheels. And the funniest thing above all this is I think this is the second or third time over the last 3 years or something that I've said that, this truck's days are numbered. But the way FCA Stellantis is going on about this Dodge Durango, it might be around for another 2 or 3 years. Who knows? But yeah, that's it. I mean, there isn't much else to add other than if you're going to go RT, just spend the $5,500 to get the tow and go package. Gives you a brake bias adjustment for your trailer, and it gives you all kinds of other stuff. The signs of aging come from the display for the camera on the 10-inch screen, which is like right out of the early 2000s. The resolution is terrible, but everything else about the Uconnect 5 is fantastic. The driving position, the seats are good, everything. That's all you really need to know. I love this thing. Always will. Always will.